Manchester United against Burnley is a massive game for Ruben Amorim, no question about that. Will there be a team response after the Grimsby humiliation? We'll find out. Will there be tweaks to his setup? Who will start? I'm going to run through all the team news ahead of kickoff and give you my prediction for Saturday's game at Old Trafford, because heading into that international break, United need to go into it off the back of a win. So, Burnley at Old Trafford. It's a far bigger game than it needs to be because of what's happened against Grimsby and because of how this season has started. I'm going to run through the team news, my predictions, going to speak about Bruno, Manu, Amorim, the expectation. What's your prediction for the game? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm not exactly looking forward to this one, I'll be completely honest. I want to say a big shout out to Botano for continuing to support United People's TV, and if they can they just support United? Can somebody support United right now? Can somebody, namely Ruben Amorim, go to this game and figure out how to tweak things to get improvements? Because after that Grimsby game, I lost faith in the system in its current iteration. I now don't really think that more time on the training ground and more games and all of a sudden the players will start clicking and getting it. Now, you could say that they got that in the first game against Arsenal. And I'd say kind of fair enough to a certain point. But I think when you lose against Grimsby in the way that we did, we kind of got played off the park, let's be totally honest. There has to be tweaks. And I'm going to speak about Cobby in a little bit. Now, in terms of Burnley, they've won one, they've lost one. Beaten quite convincingly by Spurs on the first day of the season. And then they beat Sunderland at home. And Anthony was their danger man, got a goal, got an assist. Ugachukwu was really physical in midfield. Hannibal's going to be Hannibal. You can imagine him being a hothead. But this game, like, the worst thing you can possibly do against this Burnley, the Scott Parker Burnley team, is concede early and then just let them sit deep, because they will love to do that. It's what they did in the Championship last season. It's why they hardly conceded a goal. It was a start of play. Now, in terms of how United approach this game, right? This was the starting 11 that faced Fulham. Yeah, we need to make changes. I wonder how many changes are needed. Now, look, I'm going to predict this so I can hope that it comes into existence. That Tom Heaton starts in goal, right? It was such a mistake to start Onana against Grimsby. It really, really was. And that's completely on Amorim and his staff. He didn't need to start. He didn't need to play for United ever again. But he did. And he immediately cost his team. Bayindir has cost United as well between the sticks so far this season. The goal against Arsenal and how he played against Fulham. It was terrifying every time a corner came in. Play Tom Heaton. I'm going to try and speak it into existence. In terms of the back three, I think that's going to go and stay the same. And if you want to take one, maybe get a positive out of the Grimsby game, Yoro was left at home and was completely exempt of any criticism from that game. He's had a strong start to the season and he was left out, so he stays fully fit for this game. And he's going to have a busy game, by the way, because I believe that's where Anthony plays, and he was their danger man for Burnley. So Yoro's going to have a busy game, and I back him, absolutely back him. De Ligt has been playing well so far this season, and Luke Shaw looks all right, actually, to be fair. I don't think any of those will change. The in midfield is where you're definitely going to get the most questions, right? Will Bruno start? I think he will start. And I don't actually think that's the wrong thing to do. I think my only criticism really revolves around the fact that there is no competition for Bruno because he's not getting taken off. Bruno should start this game and Cobby should finish it. That's what I want to see in this game. Depending on what happens, no, not really. I would still say the same thing. I think Ugachukwu being in midfield there is going to be a slight issue. Cullen is obviously not exactly the most physical and he's a bit older, but Ugachukwu is a physical beast. And Casemiro going up against him, what will happen there? I don't quite know. Now, I've already sort of explained to you the tweak that I would love to see, right? It would be it can be either one of the number 10s or the number 9. Doesn't really matter. Bring in one of those to be in that position there and simply splitting the strikers. Because by doing so, you create 3 in midfield, which I think really helps Ruben Amorim in terms of the build-up, in terms of how United are playing, but also it gives him the ability to then play Bruno and Cobby if he wanted to. It creates more midfield options. And I actually think, I wouldn't say it suits the squad better, because I think Cunha is better in this position. I don't actually think this is going to happen in this game. right? I'll be totally honest. Looking at the starting 11, is he going to make any changes? Ahmad has had a dead quiet start to the season. For Ahmad standards, anyway. He looks and I wouldn't. The people are going to associate this with him playing as right wing back. I don't think that's a case. Didn't he play as right attacking midfielder against Grimsby, and he was equally, arguably more inefficient. Just the first touches wasn't there. Ahmad's just not been at the races at the start of this season. Dorgu was awful in that game. There's no point me running through who was awful in that game against Grimsby because pretty much everybody was. In fact, I would say everybody was. But Ahmad is, it's quite peculiar, I think, is how I would describe it. It's still going to take him time to get that relationship with Mbeumo, who got his first goal for United. It's actually quite a decent goal against Grimsby, but it really doesn't matter. Up front, what would I do? Do I think Sesko will start? I think that's the real question. Given that he hadn't played for United so far this season, and he made his first start, and he played the full 90, and there were suggestions that he had cramp in that set, and that's why he was 10th in the penalty order, I'm probably going to keep Sesko there. And it depends on how you organise the front three. What other options have we got here? Højlund, there's no point. Sorry, I'm going to delete you now. He's going to Napoli, and he won't be in the squad. Xerxes was fit enough to come off the bench, but I don't think he's going to be fit enough to start. So I think you're pretty much looking at that front three. Mbeumo, Cunha, and Mount. And I think the only question really is who plays as the furthest forward. I would rather that, because I've said this to you a million times, because it's just the truth. Cunha's best asset to this team is probably when he picks the ball up around about here and drives it forward. So don't have Cunha playing as the number 9 who's pressing down the goalkeeper. I wonder how much pressing we're going to do against Burnley. I wonder how... look, there's going to be so many questions asked, and rightly so, about Ruben Amorim after that Grimsby game. And what I want to see is a bloody reaction. It's all well and good saying that, but we've just lost against Grimsby. We've lost against Arsenal. We've drawn against Fulham. What United need to do here is play like they did against Arsenal, but finish those chances. You do that and we win the game by 2 or 3, and it's not even really a conversation. Burnley were impressive against Sunderland, but Burnley got played off the park against Spurs. Burnley will be physical. Burnley will try and swing crosses in. Burnley will try and get a goal and then sit deep. It's up to United to not allow them to do that. My prediction for this game, I'm going for a heartburn 2-1 win. That's my prediction. I don't think United will be flowing, but I really, really hope that we see some tweaks in this team from Amorim. This is the exact same system that we played so far, and I've kind of lost faith in it. Certain aspects of it anyway. I'm going to run through my tactical video when it's the international break, but between Grimsby and Burnley, I don't think much will change, but the performance has to. Is that on Amorim or is that on the players? You can decide that, but that's my starting 11. That's my prediction. Let me know yours in the comments.